All right. Okay, it is time to get started now. Let me zoom in. Here we go. All right, so before we move on to the training, so let's have a look on the schedule and also the exam and the lucky draw event within this week. So for the schedule, we are holding the ZCAS for today. So and tomorrow's will be the ZCAE. So for today, we will be more focusing on the product lines, the case studies, and the application scenario. And for tomorrow, we will be focusing on the technical sections like basic setup, advanced setup, troubleshootings, etc. And also we are holding 2 sections per day, same content. Choose the best time slot works for you. And for exams, both of the exams will be available from tomorrow noon China time. And it will be ending on the 23rd at noon. So you are basically having 4 days to take the exams. And if you don't feel confident for taking the exam this time, we will be opening the exam link next month, possibly by the end of the month. And we will be opening it like monthly for a couple of days per month. And then also we will be holding a lucky draw event on next Monday at 4 p.m. Also China time here. So for the first prize, we got 1 award, and second prize, we got 2, and the third prize, we got 3. And for the first, second, and third prize is only for participants who pass at least one of the exams. But if you unfortunately not passing like any one of the exams, you will still have the opportunity to get the special prize. So we at this time we have prepared 10 of the special prize for all participants. So no matter you pass or you didn't pass the test, you still have the chance to win 1 gift card. So it is a $50 valued Amazon card, or if Amazon is not available in your country, it can be also exchanged to a equivalent gift card like Starbucks or Walmart or another gift card upon your choice. So that is a brief introduction for this week. And let's see, okay. Let's move on to the topic for today. By the way, sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Emily Luo, and I'm the product manager here from ZCAS. I see a lot of familiar name here. Hopefully you guys are familiar with me. And for today, I also have my colleague Jason and Kenny with me today. So if you guys have any questions around the presentations, please feel free to type it into the little chat box on the right side, and they will be able to answer the question for you if there's any like more advanced questions, and I will answer those questions after the presentation slides. And let's get started now. Okay, so we're going to have a brief introductions and also the product range and case studies features. So let's move on to the introduction. All right, so we are ZCAS. We found in 2010, located in Chengdu, Sichuan Province, China, also the hometown of Panda. So ZCAS is currently running 2 major product lines. One is our IPPBX. It's also where we started in 2010 and insist in these product lines for more than 11 years now. from the co-work series version 1 to version 2, 3, and the version 4 of our IPPBX will be launching this year. Hopefully in the second quarter. I believe it is going to be in the second quarter. And then the another product line we are running, it is our IP audio solutions. So actually we started our very first generations of IP speaker way back to 2015. And then after several years of testing and innovations, and we finally launched the whole, like the complete solutions in 2019 and called it the IP audio solutions. And within the past several years, we adding more models of devices to fulfill the whole product lines for the IP audio solutions, such as we just launched a new series of SQ10, the speaker. And also we launched a service last year for the IP audio solution as well. And also the Intercoms in 2020 and 2019 for other devices. And besides our R&D centers in Chengdu, we also have branches in the UK, in Dubai, and also in Czech Republic. And then let's look at what exactly the IP audio solution is. So I have divided the IP audio solution into two sections, including the software and the hardware sections. So on the software sections, it includes three major components. So for the first one, we have the IP audio center, which is a system. You can deploy the systems on a cloud server or a on-premise server or virtual machines. And then the IP audio center is going to be the core, the engine for the whole solutions. It controls everything within these solutions, the speaker that you use, or the intercoms, the gateways, or the applications, the tasks that you send to the server. It controls everything underneath. And the second, we have the dispatch console. So the dispatch console, it is a software application that you can install it on your desktop or on your laptops, and then use it for tasks such as play a background music, or you would like to make a pagings or trigger a alarms, so that all those operations going to be done within the dispatch console. And then we have the dispatch app, which is a mobile app, support both iPhone and Android. And you can use the dispatch apps for some levels of tasks or operations, such as monitoring a device, or changing a background music, or make a play a pre-recorded message that can also be done within the dispatch app. For hardware sections, we have the speakers, we have our intercoms, gateways, and also our SIP phone. I'll be giving more detailed introduction within all those components. So let's move on to the hardware sections. So first thing first, let's introduce our new products, the IAS L100, the IP audio servers. So we launched this IAS L100 in last year in November. So it is a on-premise server installed with the IP audio centers and giving the end users the out-of-the-box feature to ready to use. And it supports a maximum numbers of 100 extensions. So the maximum capacity for this device is 100 extensions. So based on the hardware selections and the hardware capacities, it cannot expand to more extensions. So 100 it is the maximum for this device. And it is specially designed for the small to medium project. Then we have our speaker. So on the SQ10 series network square speaker, we just launched this new series of speaker 2 weeks ago. And the whole series includes 8 different models. We have the B, stand for basic, and the V stand for visitors and time and compose. So, and each of the speaker, they have the built-in microphone in it. And then also a 4.5 inches, the full-range drive unit for the speaker components. And it is PoE supported. So when I say PoE, I mean both PoE and PoE plus. And then it provides 2 of the installation methods. So one would be the software mouse, and the another one would be the flash mouse. And then for the peripheral integrations, it can connect with 2 of the call buttons, and the call button also can be having the lights. So that's like the circle light on the bottom. So it can support 2 of the call buttons and 1 alarm light. We have set it like we have with a joint contact relay within the SQ10, so you can connect with a alarm light or door magnetic. So door magnetic also using the joint contact relays, and also the volume controller. So the volume controller device is going to be a device looks similar to the BM11. Besides the push button on the BM11, we have those like switch volume control buttons on it, and that device is going to launch within the 2nd quarter as well. And then besides the volume controllers, you can also connect with a LCD screen or LED screen. And then the next model, we have the SC15, the network ceiling speakers. So on these speakers, it is designed for indoor use only. It cannot use in any of the outdoor environments. It's not waterproof or dustproof. So for the SC15, it combines with 2 driver components. So we have a 5.25 inches woofer unit and also a 1-inch tweeter unit. And it is PoE plus supported, so you don't need a extra power cord cables to connect with these speakers. And then on the back, so on the back of the device, we have left a array of Phoenix connector, and it can connect with 1 call button and 1 alarm light, and also a microphone. So everything combined will be within our BM11. So if you would like to trigger a task, or you would like to make the SC15 to be a talkback speaker for 2-way communication, like a duplex 2-way communication speakers, you can connect the SC15 with the BM11s. And then we have our SW15, the network common speaker. Same as the SC15, it is designed for indoor use only. And it contains a 5.25 inch woofer unit and a 1.5 inch tweeter unit. Oops. And same as the SC15. It can also connect with the call buttons and the alarm lights, and also the microphone for the 2-way communication purpose. And we have our SH30, the horn speaker. So the horn speaker for these models, it is designed for outdoor use. So with the IP65 enclosures, it can waterproof and also dustproof. So the SH30 contains a 2-inch mid-range drive unit. So it can delivering the sound to a to like more directly to one direction. And then this model, it is PoE supported, so you can use PoE plus for it. And then we have our column speaker, the SL50 network column speaker. So for this speaker, it is designed for both indoor and outdoor use. The SL50 also has the IP65 protections, so you can use in any of the outdoor environments. But one thing we do need to be aware of is the column speaker does not support the PoE, because it is requiring for 15 watts of powers. And for PoE like 80, it only can supply like 30, like approximately 30 watts of powers. So the column speaker does not support PoE at this point. We are considering to integrate with BT, but that is the plan for the future. And let's see what else. And also it is 4G SIM card supported. So if you are installing this column speaker in like somewhere in the middle of nowhere, like in a forest that is not able to reach with the Ethernet cables, you can actually use those 4G SIM cards for these column speakers. And then we got our BM11s, the mic with press to talk button. So this guy, so this model, it can work with the SW15 and also the SC15. If you would like to use the BM11s with the X10 or the SQ10, that would be a little bit, it can work, but it would be a more complicated process for changing the interface around with the BM11s. Then we have the intercoms. So for intercoms, we are currently having 2 different models for our, so for our IV03 and the IA03. So IV stand for video. It got this built-in HD cameras on it. And the IA03 stand for audio intercoms. And it does not have the cameras. So that is the specification for the video intercoms. It is PoE supported, and inside the intercom, we also leave a array of Finex connector that you can connect with a sensor, and also we leave one DINs, the DIN DINs, and one dry contact relay within the within both models of intercoms. Okay, so you can connect with a alarm light, or you can connect with a door magnetic, and also a sensor. So sensor would be like smoke detectors, or a like water level detectors, or the sound pressure detectors, etc. And both of the model can be connect with the IP cameras, as long as the IP cameras are RTSP supported. So that would be in the use case would be when you press the button on the intercom, it will be automatically pulling the connected IP camera's image and showing on our consoles. So we call it the video linkage. By using the video linkage features, you need to use the dispatch console software application software. Here we go. And then we got our SIP paging gateways. So this SIP paging gateways is also PoE plus supported. And let's move on to the next page. So on the SIP paging gateways, let's look it can connect with a numbers of different type of peripheral devices. So let's look at the from the left to right. On the audio sections, audio in, we can connect with a microphone with the 3.5 mm jack cable. And then the audio out, you can connect with a headphone or a amplifier. So one of the most common use case for our X10 would be upgrading the analog public address systems to the IP-based public address system using the X10. And we have done a lot of projects that they already have the analog PA system installed in the school or in the hotels, and they would like to upgrade to the IP base. So each amplifiers they have, it only require one X10 SIP paging gateway. And let's assuming that you have a project for a hotel and that has a total number of 10 floors, each floor. So more than likely, each floor they have one amplifier. So for upgrading the analogs to a IP base, will be only requiring you to purchase 10 SIP paging gateways. And then moving to the right, we have the passive speakers. So within the SIP paging gateways, it can support 2 of the 10 watts passive speakers. And then we have the call buttons with the lights. So the X10 can be also connected with 2 buttons. And then for the DINs, we have the sensors. So you can connect with a smoke detectors or water levels detectors, air pressure detectors, etc. And also for relay, dry contact relays. So you can connect with the alarm lights or a door magnetic. That are the 2 common devices we can connect with the relay. So one of the, so for the first common use case with the X10 would be upgrading the IP, the analog PA systems to the IP base. And the second common use case using the X10 would be modifying the X10 to be a intercoms. So if you are using the X10 to work as a intercoms, all you need to do is to get these little call buttons and connect the call buttons, and you will also need a speaker. So you can buy those like small speakers, plug it in, and also a microphone. So microphone, speakers, and call buttons, you can make it the SIP paging gateways into a intercoms. And it would be, so for the SIP paging gateways, it would depend on the application scenarios and how you would like to change and use it. Then for SIP phones, we have 2 models, the H81 and the H83. So the major difference between these 2 models is the H81 supports only 2-line SIP account, and the H83 supports 4 SIP lines. And besides that, their screen is a little bit different. So the H83 got these LCD color screens, and the H81 has the backlight screen. So those are the 2 models of SIP phones that we have. And for this year, we will be launching a video phone as well. And let's look at a quick video here. So on this video, so I set up the environment with So the device, the SIP paging gateways that I use within the video, it is our X30, but we don't sell that models anymore. We stopped selling that, I believe, from a couple of weeks ago. But you can use the X10 for the same features. So on these videos, I set up with the smoke detector that is connecting with the SIP paging gateways. And also they are the speakers and also the gateways are registered to the same systems within our IP audio centers. And also the IP cameras, it is connected to the gateways. So when the smoke detector is triggered, it will send a signals to the gateways, and the gateways will send the signals to the systems, and the system will be able to control the speakers to play a alarmed announcements or a alarmed message. And also within the dispatch console, we are able to see the real-time image that is pulling from the IP cameras. Then got another video. Okay, oops, stop here. All right, so that is another demonstration by using combined with the IP cameras. So whenever I click the buttons on the intercoms, it will be calling to a preset destination. It can be a task, or it can be a extensions, or even for the your cell phone number, like a external phone call. And also it will be automatically pulling the connected IP cameras real-time video streaming and showing on the consoles. Okay, let's move on to the software sections. So 3 major components of software we have. We got our IP audio centers, we got our IP audio dispatch consoles, and also our IP audio dispatch apps. For user role here, we separated into 2 major user roles. So for the first one, we have our demonstration. So it will be the person who with at least some levels of technical background, someone who are able to configuring all the devices settings, the system settings, and able to registering all the devices to the systems and setting up the systems, and also troubleshooting. So that is the demonstration. And then we have the operator. So the operator would be the person or the people who will be using the dispatch console. And the dispatch, the operator, we also call it the dispatch user. So the dispatch user can have managing multiple groups, like multiple zones, and you can have multiple dispatch user to managing one same zone. Okay, let's look at the IP audio center first. So for installation method, it supports hardware like on-premise servers, cloud-based server, virtual machine. So we can provide you the ISO files, and you can install the ISO files within the servers that you have. It can be cloud or on-premise or virtual machine. So if you would like to test it in setting up the environment in your lab for demonstrations, it would be perfect to use to install it within your virtual machine. And as I mentioned earlier, for the new product, the IASL100, that is the device already have the IP audio center installed and giving you the out-of-the-box feature ready to use all you need to do is to plug in the power cord cables and plug in the Ethernet cables, and it is ready to go. And for IP audio centers, so for the whole card, for the whole solutions, you're going to registering all the devices onto the IP audio center. So we'll be creating all the SIP accounts for the devices, and each device is requiring one SIP account. And for all of our SIP endpoints, they support 3 SIP accounts. So you can actually register the device onto the IP audio center and on the IPPBX or another SIP-based server at the same time. And also for the IP audio centers, you're going to creating the paging groups or paging zones within here. So you can creating one zone for the first floor and a second zone for the second floors and third zones for your third floor, etc. And we support unlimited number of paging zones. So comparing to the analog speaker, so one of the huge limitations on analog systems, it is hard to expand. For example, if you're going to have a new buildings or you have a new floor, it is difficult and tough to expand for the new buildings. But within the IP base, all we need to do is to install the speakers and creating a new zones within the software. And that is all the SIP accounts here. Then we have the dispatch console. So it is a software application you can download from our website and then install it on your desktop or your laptop. So let's look at the console first from the top to the bottom. So on the top navigation bar, we have these little icons. So those are the device type. If you click on the speaker, it will be showing only the speaker type of devices that is registered with the within the IP audio centers. And then underneath there is a smaller smaller navigation bar, the horizontal navigation bar. So those are the paging groups. So if you have 10 paging groups, it will be showing 10 different paging groups there. And then in the middle is showing all the devices that you registered within the center. And within each device, there is a little icon on the top corners of the device that is showing the device status. So if the icon is in green, that means the device is available, it's not doing any task. If the icon is in red, that means the device is running some sort of tasks or operation. And then on the left vertical navigation bar, we have the music section. So that is the place that you're going to creating all the music playlist. So you can creating multiple playlists, one for Monday and one for Tuesday, one for Wednesday, playlist to play different background, like for music, and also like alarm message. If you would like to uploading your own alarm message audio files, you're going to do it within the music section. Then we have the meeting. So the meeting would be inviting different devices to a meeting room. And tasks, we running 3 different types of tasks, and I'm giving more detailed explanation later on. And then on the bottom navigation bar, on the left side, we have the telephony feature. So including like bucket, split, monitor, whisper, those are the telephony features. So within our IP audio centers, you can actually register a SIP trunk. I mean, you can register multiple SIP trunks to the systems and using those SIP trunks for making outbound call. And on the right side of the bottom navigation bar, those are the music features such as the play would be selecting the playlist. Then we have the paging, the alarms, meeting, adjusting the volumes and stop. And on top of that, we have this little panel called the video intercoms panel. So that can be expanded to a 16 Windows panels. So you can showing 16 cameras, IP cameras, video streaming on the dispatch console at the same time. So that is for the standard versions of the dispatch console. And for dispatch apps, it is a mobile app, supports both iPhone and Android. So for the features on the dispatch apps, comparing to the dispatch console, way less. You have less feature, less controls using the dispatch app, but it is convenient for you to use when you are not in front of your desktop or your laptops and the whole set of feature is not applicable at the time. You can use the dispatch app to play a alarms or to play a text-to-speech message or a pre-recorded message, or you can monitoring all the device statics or changing a background music using the dispatch app. And then we got a new software application. So we call it the SAAD tool, the Search Active IP Audio Device tool. So this new application, we just released this software application last week within the latest versions of our hardware, our endpoints 1.2.4. So that is the applications. You can use it for searching the endpoint's IP address and also doing the bulk upgrade. So in the past, if we would like to upgrading a whole bunch of speakers, let's say if we would like to upgrading 100 speakers, we need to do it manually one by one. We need to get into the speakers and then upload the firmware and then the next one and then the next one. By using these software applications, as long as the applications and your endpoints are under the same IP segments range, such as on my like 192.168.17. So as long as all these are under the same IP segment range, it can be able to search the device with the device IP address and also the software version, hardware versions, where is the device is registered to. We have the primary servers, etc. By the way, so this tool can only work for the ZCAS IP audio endpoints. So it cannot search for a Grandstream IP phone or another manufacturer's speakers. So it can only work with the ZCAS IP audio endpoints. And then after you search out all the devices within the same network, logging in, then you will be able to export the device backup files. And also we can do the upgrade on the right corner. So we can do the upgrades. It will be selecting a model, a device model, such as if you would like to upgrade a SW15 speaker. So you just choose the SW15 and it will be showing you how many SW15 you're having within the list, and you can select it all and then upload the firmware to upgrade all these devices. It's very convenient to use, but one requirement for using the SAAD tool is you need to update your endpoints to the latest version of 1.2.4. Otherwise, this tool is not able to scan the device. So if you would like to use it, we have all the information on our website. Please feel free to download it and try it out. So for some of the features, So for the first one, we have the paging groups. So we, as I mentioned earlier, that we support unlimited numbers of paging groups. So you can create as many as you need, even though you're having like different buildings. So let's assume you have like different restaurants, and you can create the different groups within the same server, the same systems for your restaurants. Then we have the background music. Then for tasks, so for tasks here, we are currently supporting 3 types of the tasks. So for the first type, we have the immediate task. As the name suggests, it is going to be an immediate task. So once you're filling out all the information like task name and selecting the device and selecting the audio files, it will trigger the task immediately. And then the second task would be the timetable task. So that is a repeated group task. So you can select the task to be operated within a specific time range. For example, I would like to play a after school announcements in January, but only from Monday to Fridays at 5 p.m. I can select in the whole January and only Monday to Friday at a specific time, and choosing the announcements files, etc. So that is the repeated timetable task. And then we also support the dial number trigger task. So for the dial number trigger task, it is a preset task. So you do need to set it up the task first within the dispatch console. For example, choosing the type would be play a alarm, like a fire alarm. And then when I need to use this task, I just need to trigger it using my phones or my cell phones or desk phones, or even for a buttons, I can trigger the task. And the next one, we have the SIP paging. So selecting one or multiple devices that you would like to make the pagings, and just select it and then click on the paging buttons. It will ring your master phones, and using your master phone for the paging. Then for emergency alarms, so we have the preset, like the default alarms audio files installed with our systems, but I believe we have adding more type of alarms files, including like earthquake and also another type of alarms. But if you would like to add in your own alarms, you can do it within the music section. And also you can use the dispatch app for triggering the alarms. For pre-recorded message, you can record the message first and then play it as a audio file. That would do it within both the dispatch console, the tasks of the dispatch console, or the dispatch apps. Then we support the TTS, the text-to-speech. Then we have the volume control. So selecting the speakers and then click on the volume, and you can adjusting the volume to a higher or lower. So we have the intercom call. So once I click on the bottom of the intercoms, it will be automatically calling to a preset destinations or trigger a task. Then we have the video intercoms. It can pulling the connected IP camera's image and showing onto the dispatch console. Then we have the call monitors. So those are the telephony features. And the telephony features applies to the access level. I believe that is on the, so each of the dispatch user, they have a access level. We call it the multi-user privilege. So from the highest 1 to the lowest 12. So dispatch user who has a higher access level can be monitor or whisper or cause bleed, the caused by the dispatch user who has a lower access level. But if the dispatch user has the same the access level, he or she cannot determine monitors or whisper the call made by another dispatch user. We have the monitor here. And we have the bucket, so I can bucket the call. And also I can split the call. And for meeting, so selecting the devices and inviting them to the meeting zones for the meeting. So for recording, for our systems, we record the audio files only. So that is also one thing we need to be aware of, is we do not record any of the video recording. So we don't save any of the video recording. We just pulling the connected IP cameras real-time video streaming and showing onto the consoles. That is because when you're using the IP cameras, more than likely you are having the cameras to save your video recordings. So for our systems, we only saving the audio recording, includes the IP phone calls, the intercom calls, the paging meetings, and you can download this recording in two places. For first one would be the IP audio center. So there is a recording section. So click on there and you can and it will be showing all the recordings that you have. You can play it or download the audio files, the recording files, I mean. And then the second place will be within the dispatch console. So within the software, you can also downloading the recording files. Then we have the centralized management feature here. So we're able to managing all the devices within one platform, within one software applications. So that is the multi-user privilege that I just mentioned. So we have the highest 1 to the lowest 12. So dispatch user who has the higher levels can do the telephony operations on the dispatch user who has a lower access level. And also when you are creating the dispatch user, you can also select the permission for the dispatch user, such as I would like this dispatch user not to make any of the external calls. So if you uncheck the external calls box, so this dispatch user won't be able to make any of this external call. And also one feature we implemented within the latest version is when the dispatch user is not answer the call, you can forward the calls to another destination. For example, it's like another extension number or a paging groups or a external call, like calling their cell phone number. And we implemented that features within the latest version. Then we have the service priority. So we have a total number of 5 different service priorities. From the highest priority, we have the paging, and the lowest would be the background music. For example, if my speaker is playing background music and I need to do a paging now, the background music would be paused, and then it will go back on after the paging is done. Then we have the APIs. So the whole set of API is available to use within the employee system page. Then we have the IP telephonies. So you can register the SIP trunks. We also support the unlimited number of SIP trunks. So you can register to the IP audio centers and then creating the outbound call rules. That way you can make the outbound calls using the SIP trunks. Then we have the hot standby. So the hot standby is basically it only applies to on-premise server. So basically you are having two servers to run simultaneously. So just in case the primary server is down, the secondary, like the backup server, is able to pick up all the operation that is running on the primary servers within somewhere around like 20 seconds to 50 seconds. And then it is automatically switched to the backup servers. So let's say that your primary server is down, then the secondary is up. So the secondary becomes the primary servers. So once you fix the primary servers, it will automatically switching back the primaries to be the primaries. Then let's look at the advantage here. So comparing to the analog public address systems, so I would say the analog PA systems, they have the limitations on expanding the paging zones. And expanding the paging zones using on the analog, it is tough and it is expensive, but using the IP base, will be much easier. And also the limited features. So for the analog PA systems, if you would like to make a paging, make a announcements or changing the background music, you need to run all the way to the control room for on the amplifiers and then switching to the next song or for the pagings. By using the IP base, you can actually changing the background music even you're at home and the speaker is in your office. And also within the support of the cameras, you can monitoring all the real-time streaming, the indoor environments within the cameras. And also you can controlling, like managing all the devices within the same platforms, and you're able to monitoring the device status. So using the analog, if you are installing the speakers in the forest and somewhere like in the middle of nowhere, and you don't know whether or not the speaker is working or not, but within the IP base, we are able to monitoring the status of the device. And also besides the column speakers, all the endpoints, they are PoE/PoE plus supported. So it can save you a lot of wiring cables for connecting to the amplifiers, and we also eliminating the amplifiers. And comparing our solutions to the another IP-based public address systems. So I would say the biggest advantage we have is we use the standard SIP protocols on both of the servers and the endpoints. That means using the standard SIP protocols, that means you don't need to use our endpoints and our servers at the same time. You can register our speakers or the intercoms on another SIP-based server, such as a IPPBX server, or you can use the third party's endpoints, like another SIP-enabled speakers, and register to our server, the IP audio centers. It can also work. And comparing to the other public address systems, so most of the PA system, they use the private protocols. So if you are using their speakers, you are requiring to use their the intercoms or the another type of devices and also their systems. But for the standard SIP, you can actually like mix and match with another type of devices as long as they are SIP enabled. So for industrial types, so I would say as long as you can think of the places that I believe these IP audio solutions can apply to. So for transportation, we have done a lot of projects for the subway stations. both in Chengdu and also in Shenzhen and also in Changsha in China here. The subway stations and also the highways, the like train stations. And for healthcare, we have also done a number of hospital projects, and also for clinic centers. So education would be like schools or college. So retail, we done some project for the shopping malls, like the one in for Decathlon in Taiwan. And for manufacturers and also for city surveillance project. And let's look at some of the case study here. So for the first case study, I would like to share is the Decathlon shopping mall project that we done in Taiwan. So for this whole project, it is a brand new Decathlon shopping mall. The whole building has a total number of 3 floors. They have a basement, they have their ground floors, and they have their first floor. And in this project, they use our SW15 to install it on the ground floor and the first floor of the buildings. And since they're using their basements as their office, and then they installed the horn speakers in their basements. Then also they use a couple of the X10 zip paging gateways for the external music correction features here. And one thing I forgot to mention is if you would like to play the music, there would be 2 different methods. So for the first one, you'll be downloading the music files and then uploading the music files onto the systems. Through the dispatch consoles. And then if you would like to play the background music that is through your phone or through your laptops, you can actually do it using the X10 as the external music correction device. So it can correct the music from your phones and then sending this music to the servers, and then the server sending the music to the devices, like to the speaker. So you can play the music from your phone or from your laptop through the speaker. And then the second case is the project that we done in Australia for a Amazon zoo. So for this zoo, they use our IAO3 as the what's it called, like emergency call point. And if anyone, like any visitor that they need help, they can press the button and reach for help using the intercoms. And also the horn speaker installed around the zoos for announcements and also for background music purpose. So that is the diagrams that they showing the project that they use the horn speakers and also the intercoms. Then the next project, we have the post-selection center that we done in New Zealand. So for this project, it is actually a upgrade project from the analog PA systems to the IP-based PA systems. So all they use it for this project, it is our X10. So they use our X10 to connect with the amplifiers, and then the amplifiers connect with like a whole bunch of analog speakers. Then using the zip paging gateway as a like signal translator, it would be able to achieve translating the analog to the IP, and then we'll be able to achieve all the IP-based features such as like connecting to the IP cameras, and also doing the tasks and monitoring the amplifiers, etc. And then the next project, it is the wetland park project that we done in Chengdu. So for this project, they use our IBO3, the safety intercom, also as the emergency call points. And on top of the intercom, it also have a IP cameras connected using the RTSP. And then once the person who is like triggering the call buttons on the intercom, the connected IP cameras will be able to pull out the real-time video streaming and will be able to see like what the environment looks like and who is pressing the buttons, etc. And then be the last case study is the my project that we done in Korea. So for this project, all they need is for a announcement. So they chose our horn speakers, the SH horn speaker, and installed it around their building there. And then also in this case, since all they need it is for a paging features, so we recommend them to not using our servers, the IP audio centers. Instead, they can register all the devices on a IP PBX and achieve the same features. So one major difference, so since the IP PBX and the IP audio, they are both SIP based server. The major difference between these two is if you care about the sound quality, since the IP PBX is using the SIP protocol for transferring the voice streaming. So the sound quality by using the PBX is not as good as using the streaming on the IP audios. So, but if you like everything you need is a paging and you already got the PBX, it would be a good option to use using registering the devices on the PBX instead of like purchasing another server. But if you care about like the sound qualities and your biggest purpose is not only like live paging, but also like background music or also other features and including like videos, and I would recommend you to choose the IP audio over the IP PBX. But since the upgrades on our IP PBX, we have the new pen note launched last year. It can also achieve some of the PA features, such as creating the tabs or making pagings or playing background music, even though the sound quality is not as good as the IP audio, but all those features can be achieved with the IP PBX. So I believe that is the end of my presentations.